Yes, indeed. America and the world. The bar is open. The Black American Relationship Reboot is on the air. YouTube. Hello, how's everybody doing today? Wow, we missed about 3 weeks. But I'm going to tell you, it's been a lot going on. We had the whole piece with the Ray Rice video. We're going to talk about a little bit of everything in different segments because I got the Yana Van Zandt interviewing the brother down in Atlanta with 34 kids, 17 mothers. The Blackish show just came on, so we're going to get right into it. But what I would just like to start off with is, Black fathers have been under siege. This whole domestic violence piece didn't put us in such a light that you would think we the worst thing on earth. So I came in today, I wore my Good Fathers Only jacket. Let me see if I can put it up here. Good Fathers Only here, see folks. Good Fathers Only. Brother Calvin Mann here in Detroit, Michigan. EmiLive.com, that's EMIYLIVE.com. We about good fathers here. We got some good fathers. We breeding good fathers, and I'm going to talk about good fathers. But we're going to talk about this domestic violence piece first because, this whole piece here has just gotten out of whack for me. I'm like, okay, got the vice president saying that there ain't nothing in the world a woman can do wrong when it comes to domestic violence. And it reminds me of some other sayings that we know about women, such as, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. So once a woman get mad, she allowed to do whatever she wants. And I'm going to tell you, that making me sweat. That's where I think we had a major problem. And we all done heard, if it's not your girlfriend or your mother say it, but if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. And for brothers, we know exactly what that means. So that's about. But what I want to start off with, as far as discussing the brothers, before we get to the domestic violence pieces, let's understand something, sisters. To me, October 16, 1995 was a watershed moment for the black man. I was that Monday of the Million Man March. Now I was in D.C. for the Million Man March. And no matter what you believe, you might not be down with Farrakhan or whatever, but all them brothers were there, not to see Farrakhan, but we were there to atone for our behavior, mainly to the sisters. And what we said to you sisters were, we apologize for not being the fathers you've needed. We apologize for not being the men you needed in your life, the sons you wanted in your life, and the brothers you needed in your life. And we admit it. We not perfect, but we gonna strive to get better. And I felt after that, we didn't need to do any more marching. I didn't think we needed to do another march as black folks after that march, because the men of our race had made a statement that it's time for us not only to be better, but to be allowed to be better. And in order for us to be allowed to be better, the sisters would have had to have open arms and say, we want you to be better. And you know what? We're going to help you get there. But instead, unfortunately, the sisters decided we're going to have our own march. Okay? And I know because I wrote articles about it. I interviewed LaShonda Bartell right here in Detroit, Michigan. She headed up the Michigan chapter of the Million Woman March. And the sister said, well, if the men can have a march, why can't we have one? You know, quid pro quo type thing. Okay, that's fine. So I'm thinking, and I would ask, okay, are you guys going to atone for your behavior towards the men? For what, they said. We all right. We going to go down there and stress sisterhood and woman empowerment. And that's what they did. They went down to Philadelphia, and that's what they stressed, womanhood and empowerment. There was no atonement for any other past grievances to their men or anyone else, not even their children. And we know what their children up against. So I say all this because I want to blend right into the fact that we all got to take responsibility for our behavior. And that's where this whole domestic violence piece kind of gets me. All right, we saw the tape, and we don't know exactly what precipitated the whole thing with Ray Rice. And then all of a sudden, everybody started having problems in their marriage, mainly black men. So they pulling up files on guys. You got some guy, third string guy in Minnesota, supposedly threw a shoe at his kid and slapped this woman, and bam, now he got a domestic violence bill. Okay, that's terrible behavior. But let's also talk about the fact that we done been through this before. If we all recall Juanita Bynum, oh man, she was gonna be the face of domestic violence. Her man had beat her up in that parking lot, even though he told her, don't follow me, don't bother me, get away from me. She followed him out to the parking lot, cussing and clowning, and they got to fight. And he tumbled around with her. Then it turns out that they were both fighting. He was beating on her, she was beating on him. And the whole Juanita Bynum being the face of domestic violence piece just kind of blended into the woodwork. We didn't hear much more about it. And that was about it. Wasn't no sisters talking about maybe we need to start behaving better as women. It was like, okay, it's cool. They got us on this one. Okay, fine. So then we get Rihanna and Chris Brown. And Chris Brown did a number on Rihanna. So whatever she did, and they had the rumor she threw his keys in the sewer and she smacked him. She found out some other girl on his phone, all this old foolishness. Whatever she did, she really got his goat because he blew up on her. She was going to be, the voice of domestic violence. Oprah got on the air. I remember seeing her and Tyra Banks, and they were like, oh my goodness, anytime a man hit a woman, he'll do it again, and he's going to be violent, and he's going to be just some kind of angry beast. As if you hit a woman once, now you just beating on her and smacking her, and you turn into this wild beast. So there are no parameters. So the man who beats his wife repeatedly is the same as the man who might have lost his cool and hit his wife. They all get grouped together. So there's bad guys. Then Rihanna turned out like I ain't really got no beef and I don't want to be the face of domestic violence. And then she go out here half naked and do all kind of crazy stuff and pretty much look like she got a lot of issues. Whew, Lord have mercy. Then we get Evelyn Lozada. Lord have mercy, the basketball wife. Y'all know Evelyn Lozada, good grief. She was the show over there on Basketball Wives. Always fighting somebody, throwing drinks on somebody, hitting somebody upside the head with a bottle, throwing glasses at them. Just totally crazy. I have no idea why Chad Johnson or Ocho Cinco or whatever he's called himself at the time would marry this woman, but he was looking for, a payday himself. They had planned to have their own show, and they were going to do something. It was going to work out. Now, we all know Chad Johnson was doing pretty good. He had a show on one of them channels, VH1 or something. Then he also had a contract with, it was a juice company, I don't recall. And of course, he was about to, get a position with the Miami Dolphins. So his life was looking good. He was worth about $3-4 million. They get in a fight, okay. And she, he head-butted her. It wasn't like he was beating her or nothing. You get head-butted and you run over to the neighbors? What is that? Oh, that's some childish stuff. Now you done incorporated the whole public in your dispute. A little scar on your head. Now you call the police. He beating on me. Of course, you embellish. And what ends up happening? The whole world is talking about, oh my God, these black football players, they're just something else. They're losing their cool. And the poor man had to go on an apology circuit. She said she gonna be the voice of domestic violence. We ain't heard from Evelyn Lozada since. And Evelyn Lozada goes on to marry some other sports star or whatever she's messing with now, a baseball player. I think it's the guy over there at the Los Angeles Dodgers, Matt Kemp. So, okay, there you have it. That's what we dealing with there. So now the women, they sort of like pushing cats' envelope to see how far they can get. And then they don't realize how much they hurt not only the black man's image, but they hurt their image. And with all of this foolishness, what started happening? They start putting shows on TV that all y'all do now is harp on each other, you dislike each other, and you're fighting with each other. Every show on TV with black women, all y'all do is fight. You're catty, you're angry, you lose your cool. you're emotional. So you got the Hollywood divas, the Atlanta divas, the Atlanta housewives, the basketball wives, the love and hip hop Hollywood, Atlanta, New York, all foolishness. So now I'm saying to the sisters, y'all gonna have to start taking responsibility for y'all actions. We know where we come from, and we know we under a lot of anxiety as a people, period. So we respond to disrespect. We respond in anger to someone who wrongs us. And we know it ain't just the men. Y'all sisters respond too, and y'all respond physically. No matter if you're throwing hot grits on a man, hitting him upside the head with a skillet, throwing a brick through his windshield or something and cutting his penis off, all of this foolishness, that's wrong. And we gotta understand, if we're gonna deal with this domestic violence thing and we're gonna deal with it sensibly and as adults, we gotta get both people involved, and the discussion has gotta be sensible. It can't just be men can't hit a woman and they always wrong, and a woman can't never do nothing wrong, because all we end up with is black pain and black rage. And that ain't doing neither one of us no good. You got me sweating up in here. How much time we got, C. Clay? Baby, I'm about to sign off. I love y'all out there. We're going to talk about Iyanla Vanzant. We're going to segue right into Iyanla Vanzant for the next piece and talk about the brother with the 34 children, 17 wives, and how Iyanla Vanzant handled the piece and how she talked with him and how she dealt with all of this, because it really fits into this whole domestic violence thing, making the brother look like the pariah. Love y'all. Peace. Tired of racism. Out.